Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. For starters, my apologies. My apologies for taking a 7-day unannounced break. Anyway, I have 3 very interesting topics for you. And the first topic that I'm going to share with you is very important too. We as a country took pride in our diversity. In fact, we used to tell the world that India's unity lies in our diversity. Is our diversity turning into dividing our country? Are we dividing our country? Is our country thinking in 2 directions? That is my first topic of the day. The second topic of the day today is our Prime Minister makes statements after statements. A lot of them factually incorrect. Why does he do it? Topic number 3. A country where all the politicians, all the political parties talks about women empowerment. What is the man-to-woman ratio in our parliament going to be in 2019? We'll talk on that. Pre-1995, especially when we were young, when I was young, the biggest pride of our country was our diversity. We had hundreds of dialects, hundreds of languages, religion, race. We were different as people. And we used to take pride in saying that is our unity. You see, it's not that in India there was no communal forces, there were no communal voices, that everything was honky-dory and everybody was staying like brothers and sisters and all that is jazz. All that is, we are not saying. But communalism was dormant. Communalism was the underbelly of our society, but was never got the prominence what it got possibly after the 1990s. After the 1991, the Babri Masjid demolition, the Ram Janmabhoomi issue, things took a change. Communalism started coming up. Communalism started to be the forerunner for many elections. And after 2014, everything changed. We are a country that believes Mahatma Gandhi is the father of this nation. I believe as a citizen of this country that Mahatma Gandhi is the father of this nation. And that is our official stand too. All of a sudden, we have a complete separate thought process that is floating in this country. A thought process which says that Nathuram Godse, the murderer who killed Mahatma Gandhi, is a Deshbhakt or a nationalist or possibly some kind of a revered character. There are statues made of this man. There are people who reverence him as God. And somewhere down the line, it feels that a large part of this nation is supporting him, is supporting this thought. And that is why I feel that there is a clear division now in this country. It is not diversity. It is opposite thinking. You can't have a country which formally says that Mahatma Gandhi is the father of this nation and another set of people who says Nathuram Godse who killed Mahatma Gandhi is a nationalist. You can't have it. The thing is, there is a contestant, a star contestant of Bharatiya Janata Party who made this statement. Just hear this.
नाथूराम गॉडसे देशभक्त थे, हैं और रहेंगे. ऐसा बोलने उनको आतंकवादी कहने वाले लोग स्वयं के गिरेबान में झांक के देखें. अब की चुनाव में ऐसे लोगों को जवाब दे दिया जाएगा.
This lady calls Nathuram Godse, the murderer of Mahatma Gandhi, a Deshbhakt, a nationalist. Of course, there have been statements given by the Bharatiya Janata Party, the government of the day, there are statements giving that, Lucy, no, it is her statement, we don't agree to it and all that. There's a statement given to them to that effect.
We are seeing in the media channels a statement made by BJP's Bhopal candidate, Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, about the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji. We completely disagree with the statement that she has made with regard to Mahatma Gandhi, and we strongly condemn this particular statement. The party, the BJP, will ask Sadhvi Pragya as to why she made such a statement, and it would be proper for her to seek or tender a public apology for this objectionable statement.
Few senior journalists has called this the difference of thinking or the difference of opinion or the differences within Bharatiya Janata Party. That, Pragya Thakur says Nathuram Godse is a nationalist, while the party says no, she is thinking on her own. I say no, there is no difference of thinking between the party and this lady. This lady is saying exactly what the party is thinking. The formal stance of the party is that, we are not saying that Nathuram Godse is a nationalist. That is the formal statement of the party. The thinking could be very different to the formal statement. You see, my formal statement is alcohol is injurious to health. If somebody comes and asks me, you see, having a drink is good for health, I will say, no, it is not. It is bad for health. The actual thinking is, I would like to have my drink in the night whenever I get an opportunity. That is the difference between the actual thinking and the formal thinking. What was told by Bharatiya Janata Party, what you heard, is a formal statement that they made. The actual thought comes here. Watch this clip.
शांति से बोल दीजिए।
अवार्ड वापसी गैंग वाले
मुंह से एक बार बोल दीजिए कि आप गांधी को मानते हैं कि
मैं मुंह से ही बोलता हूँ। ये पूछ रहे हैं। अरे जो अफजल गुरु को मानता है, मैं उससे सवाल नहीं लेता। मैं आतंकवादियों के सरगनाओं से सवाल नहीं लेता हूँ। मैं बता दूं।
आप गांधी को मानते हैं कि गोडसे? कोई सवाल का जवाब दीजिए। बोलिए, गांधी को मानते हैं कि गोडसे को मानते हैं? इस सवाल का जवाब
इस प्रकार का।
My point is, if a person like Pragya Thakur Singh becomes the next MP of Bhopal, it is actually endorsing the fact that India now thinks differently. According to an article in Alt News, most of these people, one of the things that is common in all these people who are so pro Nathuram Godse, one of the things that is common in these people are all these people are followed by the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. What does that say? Just a while ago, I am told that the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, has said that he will never forgive Sadhvi Pragya for making such a statement against, for Nathuram Godse, for calling him a Deshbhakt. He said, I will never forgive her. Really? Can the Prime Minister today make a statement and say that Nathuram Godse was a terrorist, was an assassin, was a murderer? Can he make a statement? Can he make a statement that regardless Pragya Thakur wins the election in Bhopal or not, can he make a statement that she will be sacked from Bharatiya Janata Party? She'll be thrown out of Bharatiya Janata Party for calling the father of a nation or for calling the murderer of the father of a nation a Deshbhakt. So that is one end that, like I said, that are we thinking, diversity was fine, but now we are thinking absolutely diametrically opposite. But you know what is the future if we start thinking completely reverse to what we stand for? Iran was a country which was in the 70s and the 80s almost the fashion capital. It was bigger than Paris in the world. It was one of the most fashionable, one of the most modern states during the Shah of Iran. And came this philosophy, this ideology that reversed the entire thing. thinking differently, thinking diametrically differently, and that got Iran to what it is now. The radical change that happened in Iran killed its economy, killed its growth, killed the lifestyle of people. The same thing happened in Kabul, in Afghanistan, a country which was doing phenomenally well till almost the early 80s. And then came the radical shift in the thought process, the diametrical change in their ideology. Then came the Taliban, and look at what happened to that country. So every time we have seen a radical change in the ideology or in the thought process of a country, we have seen that country has gone down. And that is what is worrying. And the reason for my editorial, and I said it's a very serious topic, is that. Are we going that direction? Something that you need to ponder. I used a digital camera around 1987 or 88. Very few had email at that point in time. Advani ji was holding a public meeting in Virankum Tehsil in Gujarat. But then I took pictures of him on a digital camera, clicked the photograph and transferred it to Delhi. Now, Modi ji clicked pictures in 1988, digital pictures in 1988, and sent it via email to Mr. Advani ji in Delhi. Now, I am sure it must be slip of tongue or maybe, he must have forgotten his dates or whatever. Because according to our information, Nikon had launched their first digital camera in 1988 and the thing costed around $5,000 in 1988. That's a hell of a lot of money for a fakir who claims he had nothing, he was a fakir and all of that. So it was kind of a lot of money. Now the issue is not that. The issue is, why does our good Prime Minister feel the need to make these kind of statements which are factually incorrect? Factually incorrect. Compulsively. Would this make any difference to his image? No. Would this make any difference to the elections? No. Would this make any difference to our lives? No. Was it even entertaining? Not really. Why would he want to make a statement like this? 1998 mein main digital camera se photo click kiya tha. I wonder why he does this. And why are most of his statements revolving around him? Me. 56 inch की छाती, 56 inches chest. Me. ना खाऊंगा, ना खाने दूंगा. Me. मेरा क्या? मैं तो फकीर है. झोला उठा के ले जाऊंगा. Is what he says.
मैं लड़ाई लड़ रहा हूं आपके लिए. भाइयों बहनों, ज्यादा से ज्यादा ये मेरा क्या कर लेंगे भाई? नहीं बताइए क्या कर लेंगे? अरे हम तो फकीर आदमी हैं, झोला लेके चल पड़ेंगे जी.
I mean, look at the fakiri. Look at the kind of attire that he has. The झोला that जो उठाएंगे वो उसको उठाने के लिए एक ट्रक की जरूरत पड़ेगी मेरे हिसाब से, because that झोला will be a lot of clothes if nothing else. मैं चौकीदार हूं. Why is it always about himself? And why I wonder that he has to make statements which are factually incorrect. What is that compulsion in him? So here goes our good Prime Minister and his digital camera.
मैंने पहली बार डिजिटल कैमरा का उपयोग किया था 87-88 में शायद, और उस समय बहुत कम लोगों के पास ईमेल रहता था. तो मेरे यहाँ विरमगाम तहसील में अडवाणी जी की सभा थी, तो मैंने वो डिजिटल कैमरा पर उनकी फोटो ली. तब डिजिटल कैमरा इतना बड़ा आता था, मेरे पास था उस समय. मैंने फोटो निकाली और मैंने दिल्ली को ट्रांसमिट की, और दूसरे दिन कलर फोटो छपी. तो अडवाणी जी को बड़ा सरप्राइज हुआ कि दिल्ली में मेरी कलर फोटो आज की आज कैसे छपी.
So why is our Prime Minister, our good Prime Minister, forced to make such compulsive, inaccurate or factless statements? Our country has 130 crore of people. We are a 130 crore strong country. Out of 130 crore people, 65.3 crores are women. Rest men and the third gender. Now, for 70 crore men in India, we have 7,207 representatives fighting in the Lok Sabha elections in 2019. And for 65.3 crore women in India, we have 716 women fighting for Lok Sabha elections in 2019. This is the ratio. 7,207 men versus, I'll give you the statistics. We have 7,207 men fighting for the elections, 5 from the third gender fighting for the election, and 716 women fighting for the election. As minuscule as 716 women. Now, the thing is, it is absolutely sad and disgusting that every political party in this country talks about women empowerment. Be it Bharatiya Janata Party, be it the Congress Party, be it even Samajwadi Party. Every party in this country talks about women empowerment. But none of these parties are bothered to give a ticket to a women contestant. They don't. It is a very unfortunate thing. See, I heard some neta saying in some television channel yesterday that, it is better now because in 2014, there were 665 women contesting for the election in 2014, and in 2019, there are 716. So yes, there has been a 55 women increase. So he was actually gloating about it. In 2014, there were 7,536 men versus 7,207 men in 2019. 6 third gender in 2014 versus 5 third gender in 2019. Total 7,928 contestants this time around versus 8,207 contestants last time, 2014. This is the statistics. So the next time when you hear a neta standing there and talking about women empowerment, beti bachao, beti padhao, and nyay for women and all that, please understand, all this are hogwash. They wouldn't want women in the power seat because normally one gets to see that the criminal record for a women contestant is far lesser than the criminal record for a men contestant. But a party cannot have non-criminal elements in politics, for heaven's sake. Otherwise, how will they do their work? How will they ensure that they win elections? So they need criminals. So chances are they won't want to get women involved. The percentage of serious crime against women are far lesser. Women contestants are far lesser than their male counterparts. And that's precisely why these parties wouldn't want them. Who will fight? Who will create riots? You have to have people, to create riots. So, you have to have gundas. How can you get a woman to participate? The most important thing is research says that the chances of women accepting and giving bribes are lesser than the chances of a man doing it. Technically, what it says is more men take bribe than women. Women normally tend to be honest. Bribes are lesser. Well, there are aberrations to the rule. I've seen a lot of women politicians who are quite corrupt, but that's a different issue. Percentage-wise, according to math, according to statistics, the percentage is lesser. So somewhere down the line, for all the people who talk about women empowerment, these are the figures. Catch you again tomorrow with a different topic. Namaskar. HW News Network today is a year and a half old. Thanks to your support, thanks to your love, we've grown. We require your support a little more. What we request you to do is to download our free app. Our app is in Hindi, English and Marathi. We promise to update you with the latest news, views, analysis, interview we also have a live TV going in that. If you download our app, we will get advertisers. And if we get advertisers, we'll get revenue. We get revenue, we can serve you better. So once again, please do support us. Please download our app. Namaskar.